chronic overthinker and someone who experiences a lot of emotions on a day-to-day basis and had a lot of thoughts constantly jumping around my mind. Starting journaling 3 years ago, it's probably one of the best things I've ever picked up for myself. I've gained more mental clarity and understanding of myself. It helps me regulate my mood, and I've become way more self-aware and in control of my feelings and my emotions. And over the years, I've kind of figured out a technique or a method that helps me make the most out of journaling. And today I just really want to share this with you because I know how much it has transformed me in so many different ways. But before I get into the technique, I just want to quickly talk about how I started journaling. So 3 years ago, I had just moved to London. I was heartbroken. I didn't know anyone, had no friends. I was living alone. I was feeling really lost and lonely and hurt all at the same time. There was just so much on my mind and I didn't really know how to deal with them. And I was just looking for an outlet, a safe outlet where I can express all my thoughts and emotions. Thought about going to therapy, but I couldn't really afford it. So that's why I decided to turn to journaling. There are a lot of different types of journaling, but the types of journaling that I find the most useful is the one that actively delve into negative emotions and upsetting experiences. I personally don't use any prompts for my journals, but if I'm trying to address some difficult emotional challenges or heavy mental blocks, I would turn to what is called expressive writing, which usually starts with describing the events, describing what had happened with a lot of details, with as many details as possible, and then followed by describing how I was feeling at that moment and how am I feeling now. The last step is to try to make as many connections as possible to my childhood experiences or relationships that I have with my parents, my friends, my family, my career, my belief about myself, or type of person that I want to be or don't want to be, etc. And I really think that is a process of confronting, understanding, and ultimately transforming all of these troubling experiences into lessons that could possibly guide us moving forward. Because once you acknowledged and accepted everything that had happened to you, you're no longer letting it have control over you. One thing that has helped me so much in understanding my emotions is to develop the habit of asking yourself why. So for example, if I'm feeling a little bit anxious today, I would ask myself, why do you feel anxious? Well, maybe because I have to speak in front of the camera. Then what about it? Why does that make you feel anxious? Maybe it's because of the fact that what I'm speaking right now is going to be seen by a lot of people. Then why does that make you feel the way you're feeling right now? Well, you don't have to write all those questions down, but just make sure that you go deeper and deeper to try to understand the reasons behind your emotions. This not only allows you to become more aware, knowing where they come from also helps you to manage it and have better control over it when similar situation arises next time. And if it's something that I didn't do very well, I would also reflect on the things that I could have done better, what are the lessons that I could take from the situation. Instead of dwelling on the past, I do try to see every mistake and failure as an opportunity to learn and grow. And even though writing about negative experiences is beneficial for your personal development, it can be overwhelming if that's the only thing that you write about. I think journaling is a conversation that you have with yourself, and you don't want to talk about only the negative things. You want to introduce as many positivity into the conversation as possible. So that's why I always trying to keep what I put down really balanced. So I would write about things or people that I'm grateful for, or if there's anything positive that's happened in my life right now, I would write them down as well. And also affirmation, because it's really important to remind yourself of all the amazing qualities that you have, especially when you're experiencing, all these negative emotions. It's just so easy to forget who we are when we're thrown into uncomfortable situations. Knowing that we've got so many loving and supportive friends around us, and that we have the power to grow and evolve beyond our mistakes and failures and traumas, it allows us to find inner peace and love and compassion for not only ourselves, but also everything and everyone around us. And I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I really do think journaling has helped me see the world differently or see myself differently. But in order to make the most out of journaling, you have to be honest with what you write. You're not here to impress anyone. No one has access to your journals. So it's essential to be completely honest and open with your feelings and thoughts and emotions. I know oftentimes we're trying to uphold a certain image when we share our vulnerabilities or traumatic experiences, which is normal because obviously we don't want them to see us badly. But difficult emotions are not always pretty, you know? Like sometimes our thoughts can get pretty dark and it's okay. You're writing for yourself and this is for your eyes only, and no one will ever see what you write down. So don't worry about grammar, don't worry about spelling, just put down whatever's on your mind onto that piece of paper or digital journal if you choose to do it that way. And also, it's okay to write about the same thing over and over again if that's what you need. I was reading through some of my old journals from a few years ago and I noticed that I was literally writing about the breakup or the feeling of loneliness for probably about like a month straight. But as I wrote about it more and more, I do recognize that the overall tone of my journals has become more and more positive. So don't worry about repetitions in your journal. It's probably a good thing if you're trying to find more clarity of the situations that you're in. If that's something that brings you a lot of distress, write about it as many times as you need until it no longer affects you. But also, there's no minimum to how much that you need to write. I remember when I first started journaling, I always feel this immense pressure that I have to fill up a whole page when in reality there's literally not that much to write about. But this is not an assignment that you have to complete and no one is judging you for anything. So if you only have a couple lines of thoughts, it's okay. Write them down and move on. But that's why I like having a digital journal other than my physical ones. I use an app called Stoic. By the way, this is not a sponsored video or anything, even though I really hope that they would. I've been using Stoic for a little more than a year now, and I love it. I think it's super convenient, and that's pretty much my go-to outlet whenever I don't have that much deep thoughts. Honestly, starting journaling and keeping a habit out of it, it's probably the best thing I've ever done for myself. But it would be a lie if I say that I journal every single day, because I don't. Well, I used to. For about like 8-9 months or something, but after a while it sort of just became a chore. Now I write whenever I feel a little bit weird or if there are a lot of thoughts on my mind that I need to sort out, which is probably around like 2-3 times a week, sometimes more, sometimes less. It very much depends on my mental state and my circumstances, I guess. Hopefully you will find some of what I shared useful and give journaling a go. I will leave some of the resources I read in regards to expressive writing in the description box below if you're interested in knowing more. Yeah, I hope you have a lovely day or evening wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next video.